Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Folks, the Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by me throwing my books around. Woo! We're standing up right, folks. The Fighting Axe and the Simple Sword. These books are written by yours truly and are the simplest, easiest way to learn the basics of how to sword fight, how to train, and how to train others in a safe and rational manner. It's also brought to you by my amazing Patreon patrons at the link below, www.patreon.com/author/Nicholas Talker. Later, we will be visiting woodenswords.com, which is Purple Heart Armory. I have my affiliate link already in the chat. So if you guys are ready, we can hop, pop, and talk swords till, well, for the next hour or so. So I'll let some folks rattle in the chat, and while I'm chatting, we're going to talk about what we're discussing for the people who come in and see what we're about this week. This week, I really want to focus in on the hi, Frog G. Great to see you. Frog G is amazing. He's doing incredible things in comics. Man, it's just a powerhouse. Great to see you. Yeah, this week we're going to be talking about the basic startups on what to do when you want to learn, but you don't know what to learn, and maybe even what styles from a broad scope should you focus on. We'll also hint a little bit about something that eagle-eyed viewers are going to catch. But before we get into that, let's talk some changes. I have been working on my workspace, so I could do something I haven't been able to do for weeks. Get way back here, folks. I'm working on clearing out more space behind me and rearranging my office /study/ inner sanctum to be able to provide you guys new exciting content, not only on this channel, but on the Nick T Art channel. So, before we get into it, let's talk. This is quick becoming the season of love, and while you're snuggled up with your honey bunnies, and I hope you're out there watching, eating pizza and having a good time, let's talk about the most bonehead basic. I want to learn to sword fight. What should I start with? Now, this is a point of contention that I've had some messages about. Hi, Cindy. Happy Friday. We're joined by Cindy Kep at www.ckoepp.com. Cindy Kep is Riding on the Edge. Anyhow, and two of my wonderful patrons. So, folks, if you're going to start training, and as always, when I'm going on, commenters feel free to interrupt me. There's nothing like solid plans. Last week I spent a while talking about this, and this is what I consider the original cheapest trainer. It is a 7/8. That's right. Cindy Kep just breaks it down. If you want to start fencing, start with the Simple Sword. Available through Kindle and Amazon. But for gear wise, because I get a lot of gear questions, where do I begin, especially when I have next to nothing? And when you have next to nothing, you're going to need to start with something called an SSO. That's a sword simulating object. I like these because they're non-confrontational, they're inexpensive, easy to build, easy to replace. There is another option, very similar, and I want to show you guys that. That's something like this. This is just 1/2-inch PVC. Now remember, the 1/2-inch is the inner diameter of the PVC. That part is a 1/2-inch, not the outer diameter. And what happened was this was meant to be a axe for me, but what I realized with my weight restrictions, I could use this with the custom handle as a very lightweight, easy to use trainer. Now you can get PVC in 5-foot lengths for about $2. And if you have a very rudimentary tool, which I do have one somewhere around here, which, here we go, called the PVC Cutter. Hey, Bladed Thesis, glad to see you. You can get one of these really cheap, a couple bucks, and you can cut PVC without any sawdust, without any mess, and witut any noise. For the people who work midnights and, have noise requirements, that's a bonus. It's also something you could throw in your back pocket so you can buy the cheaper long stuff at, say, Menards or Home Depot. And you can actually use that. Let me tilt the camera down. It got tilted just a little higher than it needs to be. Okay, there we go. And use that to cut the full lengths of PVC down to fit in lengths that you want, and it get in your car a little nicer. Little facts like this make life. Okay, this kind you should be able to find on the shelf at any big box store or Harbor Freight. It should not be terribly expensive. Oh, sorry, my God, something. And I just like these little wheel cutter ones. Unfortunately, this is my second or third because I've been known to give them to students starting out to borrow and they don't come back. So really, I should try to get a deal with Harbor Freight sponsoring these guys. The end caps, last time I looked, were 19 cents a piece. I really need to update the pricing, but with wood prices going up all over the place, setting something up like this is really, really easy, and that gives you a very free form where you can get something that you can work very nice, very light. And I'm all about that. We want... Okay. And see, while we're talking, let's go through Thesis, who I was chatting. Air guitar power slides in, which is exactly the spirit we want coming into this show. Says, I've got the other kind of PVC cutter, but I've been looking at that one lately. And, I've seen them. I just haven't had the money. And if you have something, or you don't mind a little sawdust, and you have a vehicle that you could fit, for a long time, I was traveling around in a Ford Escort, which is not a large capacity vehicle with assorted weapons and trainers. So, you can't swing a broadsword when you're in the forest. You can't store a broadsword when you drive an Escort. And that's not entirely true because I've done creative packing things, but that's the start and finish, of this. Now, why do I say a stick, and why do I keep going so hard when I know wonderful products? Like now I've modified the hilt, so don't worry about that. Like this, the oddly named D-handle Bowie knife by trainer by Purple Heart Armory. When these exist for only 20 some odd bucks. Why this? Well, one, 20 bucks is radically different than 2 or 5. 2, with a single piece of PVC and a handful of end caps, you can make various lengths so you can feel what feels right to you. Now, we talked many times about the adequate length of a sword. This is just a not short overall for me, and about optimum for a fast cutting weapon. I can draw something this length very, very easily. It's sort of why I fall in love with it. But if you start with something based around usually about a 36-inch dowel rod, it's common, it's cheap. And with this, it's not always a sword. Wait, this isn't the same one. No, this is a mermaid one of my canes I made some time ago. I'll let you guys see that. I occasionally get artsy. I had planned to seal it, but I found out that the Sharpie I used reacted really poorly to how I was sealing it. So I'll have to do different means. But yes, this is my little mermaid, not the Little Mermaid, but my mermaid cane that I made. It may become someone's. I don't know yet. It's been around for a while. It's quite pretty. But good evening, Joe Bachman. It's always good to have one of the physical guildies on, Joe. I hope you're staying warm. Both Joe and his wife Trey used to be snowplow drivers. And I would, every time there was a storm, I'd spend the whole time worried sick about them because I'm that guy. I am the chunky guy who worries about my friends till I hear they're okay. So, hello, Joe. Now, I like this because you can train single-handed, you can train double-handed, you can train pole arm, and get at least the body mechanics, even if you don't have the access. And after price, uh, I think the next is how do I fit it in my home? Because training areas are very tight, and people come to me with this problem. So that's why I say start with these, even before you go into the realm of making a boffer. Now, if you start with the PVC and you get a 10-foot length and cut it down, you can keep one in sort of this bare naked form or with a grip, and then make a duplicate and we can pad it. And I'm going to do a whole video on the basics of making a boffer, because while it's totally simple to get started, it some people have actually been hesitant to talk about it. And there are a couple tricks you can do to make your boffers a little safer. So expect that video coming up as I get the means to set up a table in front of me and work on the part. I'm also looking forward to setting up a secondary camera so that I can talk and then you can actually see, or I just cut to the secondary altogether, a downward view on whatever I'm working on, be it arms or armor or other designs. So I'm really, really excited about that. So we're going to talk. What else did we want to talk about? There was something else I want to tell. Yes, maybe you've noticed. I am not currently wearing my braces. I am able to do this because I have been doing occupational therapy for months, and I'm just getting to the point where I can go most of a day, and as long as I'm not overexerting myself, I'm functional. So first, before I go any farther, I apologize, Foxy, because your migraine is hurting, and I am so sorry that you're going through that, and that I tend to be loud and kind of radiant. Just like turn down the TV or something. Whoops, wait. Or you could ride that second camera to keep it oh, and I an eye on the undead servant. You can't fool me. Uh Actually, my undead servant is chained to the wall for her own safety right now. So Johnny, I appreciate the concern. See, I haven't been able to follow up on some things. And yes, I have not been able to do dice dudes and dames since this all kicked up. So I'm not sure if they've done anything with Gizmo, but I will let you guys, because you're here, know I am plotting to do something rather special with everyone's favorite gnome. And you might want to just follow him on Twitter to find out what. Surprises abound, folks. But getting back to this, the stick is really important, especially in the current political climate. Big bra for short. You're talking to the guy who the only reason I'm not wearing my sunglasses inside is the prescription got so bad I couldn't wear them, and we haven't had an opportunity to order more. So I fully understand. Triple D's. Whoops. Whoa. Triple D's big bra. Yeah, you know what? And if you all hear from Woodrow or Luke or Cy or Shay, give them my love. Follow them on Wednesday nights and watch whatever Woodrow's going through with them. I tried to run the game and not run the game. I tried to play the game, and part of it was just scenario problems, and part of it was I just wasn't up to it. So now I'm kind of like a little kid. I have my bedtime, I stick to my bedtime, and I'm functional. If that's the price to do a lot of what I'm planning, I think it's worth it. Oh, whoops. Gizmo's made a few appearances, and he's been very. I hope he's being helpful. But is it Gizmo? Is it really, or is it an imposter? Anyway, Foxy, that area of anatomy is literally Johnny's professional that's his professional speciality. Look him up on Twitter. Yep, Gizmo's there. However, Triple D's is going same time as my wrestling, and I'm not keeping up with it too. Yeah, I will say an 8 to midnight time slot on Wednesday nights can be a little rough. So I understand that. And I know we're way off topic, but folks, that's what it's here. And before we go, I hope everyone's keeping warm, because right now it is 18 or 19, but it's dropping really fast, and it's going to be sub-zero with 20 plus mile an hour wind. I've got 4-foot snow drifts out front of my house. This is a cold one, so stay warm and stay safe. But and keep me up with the comments. And yes, I need to. My phone is buzzing. My phone is buzzing. Why is my phone buzzing? I have a message. Okay. Sure, I can answer that question. What do I think about the Halo Energy Sword? We're going left field, but folks, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be so. In game, it's one of the most powerful weapons all the way through since the original Halo. Love the Energy Sword. Practicality, that thing's going to spin in your hand like crazy. I don't care how strong you are. Leverage is a thing. Anyway, sorry, I saw the commentary. I'm not going to bring it up. But yes, CityCap says, sorry, we have to go past because not everything needs to be aired. Follow the comments for the behind the scenes stuff. I'm glad it really is. I do a lot of exercises. I'll be happy to show you guys what exercises I'm currently doing if that's a point of interest. But because it's mostly work called nerve glides. And when we talk about stretching, okay, wait. Put that up there for a second. First, pulling back down what I was working on. Okay, I won't name them per their request, but practically the Halo Sword isn't supported enough up the forearm, and it does dramatically limit movement. So, yes, I have a Halloween-style replica of it on my wall. Who wouldn't? But would I use one as anything offensive? No. And is the one on my wall sharp? Absolutely not. It is a plastic Halloween one. One, I can't afford the fancier ones, and two, no. Secondly, getting back, yes. To answer you on Johnny, absolutely. I try to stay at a certain level in different shows. And here I try to stay about here. And that just brought my brain went down to the gutter, could have got me in trouble, trying not to. But yeah, no, Johnny draws them for a living. Fantastically. No, what I have to do, I'm getting back to, I put it up here. Yes, okay. Getting back to what I was saying. When we stretch, people think about the major joints, okay? Like, oh, hold on. And especially us old guys who've been doing this. You see the back stretch. So, you get your kind of lunge, loosen up your hips. This number, see this number a lot, which is great stretches. I mean, these are great stretches. And before I go any farther, not a medical professional. This is just what I do, talk to the medical professionals. But I have carpal tunnel and I have cubital tunnel. That means the nerves are shot here on this side. The nerves are shot here on this side. And they all bunch up right about here. possibly farther up, which means I'm a horrible candidate about surgery. So what I have to do is isolate every single joint on my fingers, and I have to go through this. And I go through this many times a day. And all that's doing is pulling the strings that work as my nerves right through here. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. This is just what I understand. Please talk to your doctor. Okay. And I work each one on both hands. And yes, this takes time. But if I'm going to be able to draw and to be able to grip something like a sword again, I'm willing to sit and spend the hours. Um, as and uh, Foxy, understanding the logistics of your build, I can see where that would be problematic. You are nowhere near high enough in the alphabet. No, wait. Yeah, you're about par in the alphabet with a lot of people I've associated with over the years. But they had usually a lot more superstructure to hold that up. And then I do these little side stretches. I also do this and work my thumb. Whatever you do something, look up the exercises and keep your fingers limber. Take care of your fingers. Wear protective armor. I am a wonderful study in what happens when you don't. My elbow's been busted. My wrist's been broken. That was off-road skateboarding, but I wasn't wearing proper attire for that either. Um, few other assorted breaks and sprains and things. Be careful. Awesome. Awesome, Cindy. Seriously, Cindy, I finished for now. You my own exercise. I'm okay, it will I'm not worried about it. Because it's live and that is really bad. So if I ever found I'm not going to play that on, I point it looked like a good one And we're back. Okay, folks. I'm going to just call it here while my net is glitching. I don't know if anyone's still chatting. Guys, I love y'all for that. And okay, we're gonna call it because I don't want it to cut out and not let me end the broadcast. The the Historical Fencing Guild, oops, is not brought to you by that. The Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by, hold on. Oh, welcome back. Yay! Okay. The Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe. And I'm going to have to call it because if I don't while it's live, it won't let me get on to end the broadcast. That's the downside to using StreamYard. So thank you for hosting. I will make it up to you later in the week, okay? I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Be good to yourselves. Keep your guard up. And folks, as always, support your local sword.